Hello, welcome. DJ here again from DJ DH Eclectic, and welcome sincerely, folks. Now, what I want to speak to you today, it's now quarter past midday, quarter past 12 on Tuesday afternoon, and I want to talk to you about some alarming statistics. They're, they're alarming and they're sensational to my mind, and they're emerging of an extreme concern for all right-minded people that reside in the UK. Yes, in the last 5 years, just 5 years, there's an average of 56, I'll repeat that, an average of 56 child deaths annually by assault or undetermined intent in the UK. 56 children die every year from assault or undetermined intent. The children under the age of 1 are the most likely age group to be killed by another person, followed by 16 to 24-year-olds. Child homicides are most likely caused by the parent or the step-parent, the carer. 56 a year. That's more than one a week. We don't hear these things, do we? Now, this is an underestimate, by the way, underestimated figure. Vulnerable and helpless children are dying at the hands of those trusted by society to love and protect them. We don't exactly know how many children in the UK experience abuse, although we can use different information sources to build a picture of the scale of child abuse. But abuse is usually hidden. It's hidden from view. Adults may not recognise the signs that a child is being abused, and children may not recognise that what is happening to them is abuse. Or they may be too young, too scared, or too ashamed to tell anyone. Statistics on child abuse. How many children in the UK experience abuse or neglect? We don't know exactly how many children in the UK experience abuse, although we can use different information to build a picture on the scale of child abuse. But abuse, as I've said, is hidden from view. It's mostly hidden from view. Adults may not recognise the signs. A number of services record information about child abuse. For example, and I'll sort these out, I've written them down. Children's services record data about the number of children they come into contact with and work with due to concerns about the abuse. This includes a number of children who are subject to child protection orders and plans and on the Child Protection Register. Police forces record data on the number of offences committed against children. Criminal courts record data on the number of offenders convicted of child abuse offences. Local registrars, coroners and procurators in Scotland have fiscal records of the number of deaths caused from and by abuse of children. National and local services run by organisations such as Childline, NSPCC, National Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Children, their helplines, they record the data, but only, of course, on the services they deliver. Are they coordinated? We need a coordinate. All these organisations, police courts, criminal courts, local registrars, national and local services such as Childline and the NSPCC, they need to get together. They need to collate the information so we know rightly and truthfully what is going on. And then, of course, there have been thousands of them missed every year because it's not reported to them. Now, let me see. The findings of the research studies that survey children and adults about their experiences of abuse can help us to estimate the prevalence of child abuse. That's the proportion of the population who were abused during childhood. These findings usually reveal much higher numbers of children who have been abused than the statistics that services offer and work with the children. This gives an indication of how much child abuse doesn't come to the attention of authorities. Many children don't tell anyone about the abuse at all. They don't tell anyone at all because they're scared of the consequences, because they're unsure who to tell or how to tell someone at all. As I said earlier, some don't realise they're being abused. They don't realise they're being neglected. They're not being fed. Then they're being. They have got parents, drug addicts, alcoholics, uncaring people who find that they've got children and they just don't care. They're in the house, yes. They're living in squalor. They're living in filth. What about the homeless and their children? So much abuse, intentional, non-intentional. But it's there, abuse, abuse, abuse. You know, there's people who never disclose what happened to them. And there's no way of knowing how many people never told anyone. Official measures are likely to be underestimated in regard to the number of children who die due to abuse or neglect. Now, why wouldn't we know? Why would it be underestimated, the number of children who die from abuse and neglect? Why? One of them is the legal complexity of the proof of homicide. Misdiagnosis of the causes of death. Abuse not being the immediate cause of the death, but being a contributing factor. We heard this with the COVID, didn't we? COVID was somebody who goes into hospital because they've got influenza, because they've got a lung, fluid on the lungs, and it's put down they died of COVID as a contributing factor. Cause of death remaining unknown or unexplained. How? Well, because it's not investigated correctly by the police. It's not been reported. The neglect and abuse has not been reported by organisations that should have reported. However, based on the number of child homicides recorded by the police each year, we know that an average of at least one child is killed every week of the year. At least one child. Every week of the year, every year for the past 5 years of recordings, a child has died and is recorded as a homicide. I just said, didn't I? Some are not recorded as homicide because of the complexity of proving homicide, the misdiagnosis of why they died, that the abuse was not an immediate cause. So a child that's been abused and starved, who then dies from another incident, an accident, and the reason they died was because of the abuse and the neglect, but it's not down as homicide. And then, of course, the deaths that are remaining unknown of why, can't be explained. Abuse, neglect, it's got to be part of it, but it cannot be proved in a court of law. But nevertheless, as I say, more than one child every week for the past 5 years of statistics has died as a result of a homicide. Your comments, please. Press the like button if you want to receive more of these things, and don't forget to subscribe. It brings you straight to me, and it doesn't cost you a penny, nor a dime, not even a rupee. It's totally free. So subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Comments welcome, or as ever. Until the next one, be safe, be good, and I'll see you next one. Bye for now. Bye.